Okay, here's what filmmakers get wrong about distribution and some of the myths surrounding distribution. One, that they'll do everything. I think a lot of filmmakers think that once they hand it off to a distributor, that basically the distributor will do everything. You're done. You can move on to the next project. And in reality, that's pretty much never the actual fact. Unless you're with like an A24 or a Neon, where they basically will put in significant amount of money and take it completely off your hands. Maybe in that case, but that's not 98% of the distributors. Most of them, you are not done and they won't do everything. There's actually a lot of distributors that don't do a lot. So I think it's really important to remember that part of your job, in my opinion, as a filmmaker, is that you also are responsible for people seeing it. You're also responsible for the marketing and distribution. Doesn't mean you have the sole responsibility, because this is maybe not your strength, but you need to be involved with it. And to me, I always think filmmakers they're all creative, right? So I think if filmmakers applied themselves a little bit, not even a lot, just a tiny bit to the marketing and took interest in that, they could be really good at it because they're more creative than a lot of the people that are actually doing the marketing. So I think it's important to, no matter what, be involved with your distribution, with your marketing. And that means doing it in tandem with the distributor. Whichever distributor you have, contribute to it and give your own ideas. Like, come up with your own ideas on how to market it, because that might be way better than anything that they were thinking. And I think that's really important. Don't expect a distributor to literally do everything. You still need to market your film. You still need to push your film, because no one cares about your film more than you do. And two, the distribution makes you money. This is kind of a harsh reality sometimes, but for a lot of filmmakers, especially indie filmmakers, once they get to distributors, they sometimes don't make any money. There's plenty of films that make $0, and that's scary. And I think you gotta realize that choosing the right distributor is essential in this, because if you hand it off to the wrong distributor, you could end up making $0 because it just sits there. You know, it gets released, like maybe it's on Amazon and Apple TV, but they're not pushing it, they're not marketing it, they're not getting any extra deals, they're not licensing it out, or they're not able to find licensing deals. And I think then it can turn into that you're making $0, because in addition to that, distributors have contracts that are very pro-distributor, especially some companies. Not all, some are very filmmaker friendly, but most distributors take anywhere from 25 to 35%. That's pretty standard. I've seen contracts where they try to take 50%. To me, that's a little too much, that's a little insane, but 25 to 35%, that's very standard. That's off the top, off the gross. Then they always have marketing caps, which means what they're spending on marketing, what their costs are basically. And that can be anywhere from 5K all the way up to 50K. Can be any of that. And the thing is, marketing caps are okay if they're actually spending it on marketing. And that's the problem. A lot of distributors, they might have a 20K marketing cap in there, and maybe they're actually spending 3K, 4K, 5K max, you know what I mean? And then the other 15K is really just going directly to them. And a lot of distributors do that. And if you see, well, you just have to check social media. Some distributors, they post about a film once. To me, that's not enough. As a distributor, I think you should be promoting the film a lot, and a lot of that you can do like organically, even with social media, having your team create content. That should be in there. That should be part of the marketing cost that filmmakers are already paying. So I think it's really important to realize that some of these contracts, you have to really look at them and make sure that you're signed with the right distributor, that you're actually getting these things that the contract says, and that it's worth their 30-35% off the gross. In addition, you're also usually paying a sales agent. They take anywhere from 15 to 25. You add all that up, you're losing 50% off the gross. And again, you're not losing it if you're with the right people, because then it gets places and gets seen that it would never have gotten otherwise, or it never would have been seen as much as it did. So if you have someone doing a good job, they're super worth it. The problem is when you sign with people that are not worth it, then you've just lost a lot of your movie percentage-wise, that honestly maybe it would have been better to self-distribute. And kind of to piggyback off that, number 3, that any distribution deal is a win. I think that's a big myth. I know sometimes filmmakers sign with distributors because they feel like, okay, this seems legit. No one cares that much anymore. What matters is that your film makes your money back for your investors, and that you do well numbers wise, or that it gets well reviewed or goes to festival, whatever it is. I wouldn't worry too much about just getting a distributor. That is not a win. But making sure that you get the right people again behind it. Even self-distribution can be better in some cases for some films than going to certain distributors, because you'll actually do better. And point number 4, this is really important. Negotiate your contracts. Most of these things are negotiable in almost any distributor. Everyone's different how much they're willing to move. Don't accept everything that's in there. Someone's asking 40-50%, then negotiate them down. Ask 35, 30, whatever it is. But get more normal numbers that you're comfortable with and negotiate. Like, you have the film, you can walk away if you're not comfortable with the contract. Same with the marketing cap. I don't think there's a problem with bigger marketing caps if that marketing's actually being spent. So actually asking what the marketing plan is, what they're spending it on, what does it look like exactly. Those should be questions they should be able to answer, and it's important for you. So I think that's something to keep in mind when you're doing that, is really review the contract. Ideally get a lawyer, obviously, to look through it. You should do that regardless, but definitely also look at yourself and ask questions. And then lastly, asking about the marketing, which I've kind of gone into with the contract stuff, but go in depth, like, and ask them, like, okay, but like, can we see like what exactly you're spending on? Like, how much is going to influencer marketing? How much is going to ads? How much is going to just all the organic posting that's happening to the team? PR, is that a thing? Like, all of that you should be asking to know exactly how those costs are broken down, and also that it's in there that for any additional marketing that they need your approval. So if they have their 15K marketing cap, make sure that there's some kind of clause in there that above that they need your approval, that they're not just spending more on marketing. And sometimes if you're doing great, like if you're, let's say you're getting $3 back for every dollar spent on ads, that's huge. So then obviously, like, let them keep increasing the ad spend, because it'll keep increasing how much money the film makes, how much it profits. So, you know, keep that in mind. Again, it all goes back to choose the right distributor, ask a lot of questions, and when in doubt, look at the films they've done, and also reach out to the people that they've worked with. In general, filmmakers are pretty good about telling you their honest experiences. I think that's really important. So reach out to people, get references, and really do your homework. It is important. I think distribution and marketing is what gives you a long-term career. Anyway, let me know what you guys think and what your experiences have been with distribution, marketing. Really want to hear all about it. And if you haven't, definitely sign up for my newsletter, where I go way more in depth in some of these things and kind of what I'm doing behind the scenes, where you guys can learn from that too. Appreciate it. Thanks.